by the time we get to 2034, I think you can say the high growth institutional adoption phase of Bitcoin has now moved to just the growth phase. There'll be a day when there'll be 200. You won't be able to name them all, right? There'll be a day when Bitcoin ETFs have already blasted past gold, and then Bitcoin ETFs trade more than the S&P index ETFs. And there'll be a day, I believe, when Bitcoin ETFs will have more capital than SPY or the S&P index. And on that day, the people at Vanguard will say, oops, I guess all the money just shifted out of equity. I think that we're in the Bitcoin gold rush era. And it started in January of 2024, and it will run till about November of 2034. It's a 10-year.
If you enjoy listening to crypto-related content, please show your support by liking and subscribing to this channel by following the link in my bio. And get access to my free daily crypto updates and expert predictions direct to your inbox. Each newsletter contains market intelligence, on-chain data and latest updates from experts in the crypto space. All of this is available completely free of charge. Signing up only takes a moment and you can always change your mind later on. Now back over to Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor defines the current period in the growth of Bitcoin as the Bitcoin gold rush era, beginning in January 2024 and running until November 2034. For Saylor, this 10-year period will be a transformative period for Bitcoin, particularly in terms of institutional adoption. In the past, institutional investors have been unable to buy Bitcoin due to various constraints in the payment rails. But with the advent of the Bitcoin Spot ETFs this year, that has now all changed. Bitcoin is now accessible to a far broader range of investor types. Currently, the active ETFs are distributed via a limited portion of the financial distribution channel. Saylor foresees that this distribution will expand significantly over the next 10 years, to include global ETFs, and to expand from the current 10 to 20% to 40, 50 and eventually 80%. As the financial distribution networks grow, more investors will be able to buy into Bitcoin via ETFs. This will drive further adoption. Make sure to watch the rest of this video where Saylor outlines his forecast for Bitcoin in 2024.
If we're talking about the future of Bitcoin, I think that we're in the Bitcoin gold rush era. And it started in January of 2024, and it will run till about November of 2034. It's a 10-year. Every single institutional investor would have looked at this and said, Bitcoin interesting, but I can't buy it. You know, everybody. And so you have 99% of the money in the world that has been unable to buy and so unwilling to consider things. Institutional investors are like this. Like they could watch your company and like have a million opinions but don't really care. And you could go to them on a Tuesday morning and say, do you want to buy $50 million worth of this security? And they'll then look at it and they'll give you an answer by 4 p.m. So when they can buy via their bank, their institutional wirehouse, their prime broker, they will make a $50 million decision in 1 hour. And they will watch you and cheer for you or laugh at you for 20 years when they can't buy. So we flipped a switch in January. What you've got is 40 quarters of people getting educated, and here's what happens next. All those ETFs, they're only distributed through 20% of the distribution channel right now. They're maybe even 10%. So that distribution is going to go from 10% to 20 to 40 to 60 to 80. And there'll be a point at which all the investors can buy. And, you know, I had to fill out, you have to fill out 3 waivers from 3 different accounts, as of a few weeks ago. So you're going to see resistance drop. You're going to see all the major banks add support. Then the next question is, well, is it creditworthy? Can I borrow against the asset? No major bank in the world will give you a loan against those ETFs yet. They've all got clocks that are running after 30 days, after 90 days, after 6 months, after a year. So first they let you buy it, then they loan you money against it. None of those instruments can you trade options on. You can't buy or sell puts and calls on a spot ETF. That'll be a year. So what you're going to see is it'll take years for the distribution to open up, for the credit capillaries to work, for the volatility trading to kick in, for the hedging to kick in, then you'll actually see all the big banks that don't like Bitcoin getting pressured. Like now we have to custody it because our biggest customer wants us to. So right now you can't custody, but there's a big battle afoot on Capitol Hill. That battle will take place. Bitcoin will win that battle. Then you'll see banks custody, then you'll see 1, then you'll see 10, then you'll see 100, then you'll see 1,000.
Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe for more crypto updates.